Canada. Panel's here to weigh in. Mitch Rochelle, an economic and policy commentator, and Tim Phillips, Director of Government Affairs and Global Strategies at Nestpoint. Gentlemen, welcome. Thanks for coming on today. Mitch, we'll start with you. Just your predictions of what we can expect from the president this afternoon.
I think he's given a lot of generalities, so hopefully we'll get some specifics, maybe country by country, maybe type of good by type of good, which is what the market wants to hear. So they have some specifics and they know who will be impacted and how. But I think what we won't know is what the negotiations are that will follow. And I think all of this is a precursor to rounds and rounds of negotiations with these respective countries, including our neighbors to the north and south.
Tim, your thoughts on this and what you expect from the Rose Garden this afternoon? Is it just going to be about, again, the tariffs? Again, it's called Make America Wealthy. Again, perhaps it could be about more.
I think it will be giving more details, fleshing out some of the president's approach. But I tell you, it's important to note amid all the hysteria from the left, this Trump approach is already working. You're seeing countries and leaders of countries from around the world, businesses from around the world rushing to the White House or to Mar-a-Lago to say, we're in. We're investing hundreds of billions more in factories, facilities right here in the United States. So this approach, it's already bearing fruit. And the economic sluggish nature we're seeing right now, that's because of the Biden hangover. And so I think as the president's deregulatory policies, getting rid of a lot of the DEI stuff, as those take effect along with these tariffs, there may be some bumps here and there, but we're going to see the kind of economic growth that the country wants and expects. And coming up next are an extension of the Trump tax cuts from 2017, ending the tax on tips. So you're going to follow up this with the tax cut extensions and more. This is the recipe for the kind of growth our nation wants to see.
Yeah, that next step, of course, has got to go through Congress. And the GOP has control, the House and Senate, at least right now. But he's already facing some pushback from Republican lawmakers. And the president's not afraid to call them out. On Truth Social just last night, specifically mentioning Mitch McConnell, Susan Collins, Lisa Murkowski, and Rand Paul, saying that he hopes they'll get on the Republican bandwagon for a change. He says they're playing with the lives of the American people and right into the hands of the radical left Democrats. I mean, Mitch, maybe these are the usual suspects, if you will, but does that give you some insight as to how difficult it might be to actually get policies officially in place when you're already seeing some GOP senators step aside?
And in the Senate, Emma, the reality is, while you can do it with a simple majority through budget reconciliation, that you can't afford to lose one or two of those people. I think what's happening is Donald Trump is a very disruptive catalyst for change. We saw it in the 45th administration. We're seeing it very early in the 47th administration. And I think many of the names that were in his Truth Social post are change-adverse individuals, or in the case of Rand Paul, if they like change, they like a very narrow thing that's very important to them. But you need to, if you're representing not only your constituents in your state, but the American people, you have to figure out what's best for the American people. And a prosperous economy benefits all. And I think that the big, beautiful bill, the goal of it is to make America prosperous again.
Right, and can't continue to print money when you're $30+ trillion in debt. Obviously, what does that look like, 10, 20, 30 years down the road for this nation? Tim, speaking of the money, it's estimated that the tariffs could bring in $600 billion annually. How much is that realistically? How big of an impact could that have if indeed that does come to fruition?
As I mentioned earlier, Sean, we're already seeing hundreds of billions of dollars in commitments and investments. The Emiratis were in just a couple of weeks ago. The Saudis have made their intention clear. Individual businesses, some of them my own clients, have already sat down with the various departments across the Trump administration. And just for a moment, for those Republicans in Congress, it's crucial for them to realize November was not a mandate for the congressional Republicans, as much as we're glad they have a majority. It was a mandate for Donald Trump. And so they need to be disciplined and focused on these really big initiatives and get them done. The clock is ticking, and the American people have an expectation level for them.
That is Tim Phillips joining us alongside Mitch Rochelle. Gentlemen, thanks so much for your insight. We appreciate the time.
You bet. Good to see you.
Thank you.
Oh,